God bless you guys. Josh back with another video. Today we are going to talk about music theory. We're gonna be stacking new terms, new vocabulary words on top of what we've been learning. This is very important to every musician, any instrument that you're learning, especially the drums. So today, let's just start talking about it. I'm gonna introduce something called time signature. The definition, time signature, is how many beats are in one measure. We don't know what measures are, but I'm going to introduce this as well. So when we're playing songs, when we're going to be learning new patterns and ideas, we're always going to be playing on top of measures. Measures are just, if you want to think about it, like kind of bars or fractions of time. Okay, what that means is within time signature, which we're defining right now, certain songs can be written in a time signature. For example, as I'm going to show on the screen, 4x4, right? That means that in a song, if I write a song in 4x4, that means each measure, each bar will have 4 beats in one bar and one measure. What that means is, so for example, in one measure, in one bar, if this, say this was the tempo that we're playing in. If we were playing in 4x4, every 4 beats, it would be one bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Next bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. That means if I'm playing in the time signature of 4/4, that means there's only 4 beats in each measure. There's a whole lot of different time signatures. The most common one, the one that we're going to be playing with most at church, will be 4/4. There are other time signatures. I want to mention that because we're not going to dive into all of them, but that's the main one. Further down the road, when we start playing songs that are in different time signatures, all it means is that there's different amount of beats per measure. It won't always be 4 beats in a measure. Sometimes it'll be 6 beats. Sometimes it'll be 8 beats, depending on the time signature. But to keep things simple and standard, what we're going to be practicing with, and most of the songs we play at church, are in the time signature of 4/4. Remember, don't confuse that with beats per minute. Beats per minute is the speed in which we are going to be playing in, but that doesn't define the time signature. Time signature is simply the amount of beats that are going to be per measure or per bar. Okay, so time signature, it correlates with beats per minute, but it's not defined by beats per minute, right? It's just the amount of quarter notes per measure, right? And most of the songs we play have 4 beats per measure. Time signature. That's a little confusing, so please rewatch this or feel free to ask me questions in person when we meet. That way I can clarify that. So time signature, very important. The next thing I want to introduce is something called dynamics. Okay? Accent and dynamics go hand in hand. I'm going to start with dynamics. I should have mentioned that first. So dynamics, all it means is that we're able to control, I'm going to use the word intensity. We're able to control how loud and how soft we can get, right? In any instrument, not just the drums, not just the piano, guitars, every instrument, you should have the ability to play soft, very soft, and to play louder. Okay, dynamics, that's what that means. If we didn't have dynamics, imagine if you were playing a piano very softly and every time you hit the note it was really loud. You know, that's not what we want. We don't want to just be super loud or to be super soft. We want to have control over how loud and how soft, how gentle our instruments can sound. That's what dynamics are called, okay? An accent, it's going to make more sense after I explain dynamics. Accent means within all the notes, within one song, within one melody that you're playing, an accent is something that will stand out. Most of the times it means that it will be louder. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to be louder. Maybe it could be a soft accent. All it means is that within a specific pattern that you're playing, there's one specific note that stands out. For example, with these drumsticks. You can kind of hear that I'm hitting the stick a little louder in one time compared to all the other times I'm hitting my sticks. I'm not getting faster. I'm not getting slower. I'm just adding an accent to a pattern. So that can be applied to strumming on a guitar. Maybe you're strumming a chord and then all of a sudden one of the strums are louder than the others. That's called an accent, okay? Same thing with the piano. If we're playing a nice song, we're playing chords, and maybe a melody has one note that sounds or stands out louder than the others, that's called an accent. And how is that possible? Through dynamics, right? Because dynamics, we know now that it's the ability to have control of playing softer or playing more aggressively and loud. Doesn't mean you're going to get slower or faster. It just means you have control over your instrument to play softer or to play louder. And this applies to every instrument, especially the drums. Because guys, think about it. If we didn't have dynamics in our instruments and we were playing the drums and every time we hit, the drums, it was really loud, everything would just be too loud or everything would just be too soft. But because we have control, because we have dynamics in music, we have the ability to make beats out of, just playing softer or louder. I'm just using sticks as an example, but again, we're able to make specific notes or a specific pattern stand out of the other notes. Because if I were just to play softly the whole time, no dynamics, things will get real boring really fast and get very monotoned. So just going to review very quickly what I was hoping to teach in this video. First thing I did is introduce time signatures. Time signatures is pretty much defined by how many beats there are, how many beats there are in one measure. So the time signature I mentioned that we're going to be playing the most with will be 4/4. That means that there's 4 beats in every measure. Okay, we know that there's also different different kinds of time signatures. We know that there's time signatures that have 6 beats in a measure. There's time signatures that have 8. There's time signatures that have 7. But we're not going to touch on those. We're not going to dive into those. We're just going to focus on 4/4 because the majority of the songs we play in the church will only have 4 beats per measure. Remember, this is relative to BPM on a metronome, but it's not the same. Beats per minute is just the speed in which we're playing in. It doesn't define how many beats per measure are in a specific song or composition. So time signature, the next thing we talked about was dynamics, having the ability to play soft, more gently, and to play louder, right? And the last thing we talked about is an accent, which in simple words just means something is a note that is, or a melody that's able to be that's able to stand out of the rest of the notes that you're playing. And that's beautiful because then you have a difference in your melody. Not all the notes are being played the same way. Not all the notes that you're playing are super loud or super soft. Maybe you have an accent, right, that makes a specific note stand out from all the other ones that you're playing. God bless you guys. I hope that was able to make sense. If it doesn't, please take notes in this video and ask me in person when we meet. I hope everyone's doing well. I know I haven't been making videos lately, but I'm really excited for everyone to catch up, to be up to date with learning your scales, with practicing the patterns that I've given you guys as homework for your instruments. God bless you guys, and hope to see you guys soon. All right.